I remember doing at least, I'm going to say probably 3 videos on this. Just guessing. Zero Hedge via Political Calculations blog. Do you remember the Philadelphia soda tax nonsense? They feel like, well, we're down on revenue, the local government. We're going to raise the living hell out of tax on sugary sodas, whatever. And people were like, well, we'll just go out of the city and buy our soda and come back. And then they had stores closing because of this issue, because they were losing revenue. Because, again, people are not going to the store locally. They're going outside the neighborhood where the other city is. Absolute disaster. We said it would be a disaster. We knew it would be a disaster. It's just a matter of time. It's going to take a little time to see the carnage. Things aren't going so well for Philadelphia's controversial soda tax in its 2nd year of existence, which is under threat. Let's catch up with how it's going in 2018. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court will weigh the legality of Philadelphia's beverage tax in a Tuesday hearing, as new data shows the city is drawing in less revenue from the controversial tax in its 2nd year than in 2017. The city's monthly revenue collections show PBT brought in $5.8 million in January and $5.5 million in February. Receipts for each month are collected by the end of the following month. The $11.3 million total is about $817,000 less than the soda tax revenue generated in the same period a year ago, when the first 2 months of 2018 saw the Kenney administration buoyed by PBT's strong start. The revised yearly estimate of $78.8 million averages out to a monthly expectation of $6.5 million. An amount the mayor's office exclusively told the Business Journal it will hit with March revenue. No problem. Believe it or not, there's good news there. The city did indeed hit its 2018 average monthly target of $6.5 million for the Philadelphia beverage tax in March of 2018. Unfortunately, that was over $521,000 less than what the city collected in March of 2017, where the city is now cumulatively over $1.3 million short of its reduced soda tax revenue target of $19.2 million through the first calendar quarter of 2018. The following chart shows how Philadelphia's soda tax collections are faring. Let's take a look, a little zoom in here. Desired tax revenues, of course, is the blue line. Actual revenues in 2017 and actual revenues in 2018. We are not looking good, as you can see. These lines need to be higher up here where the blue line is. Not looking real Smurfy, as Papa Smurf probably would say. At this point, well, wait a minute. Hold the phone. Get this out of my way over here. At this point of time a year ago, the city was cumulatively over $1.8 million short of its original revenue target of $21 million for the first quarter of 2017, where 2018's first quarter revenue collections are now some $3.1 million below that level. Now, we're going to say something surprising to those who have been following our ongoing series on Philadelphia's soda tax. We don't expect that ongoing underperformance of Philadelphia's soda tax collections will continue much farther into 2018. Accepting that we could very well be wrong, here's what we're thinking. Starting with the observation that Americans consume the lowest quantities of these kinds of beverages that are subject to the Philadelphia soda tax during the first quarter of every year, we think that Philadelphia's revenues from its controversial tax were relatively elevated in the first 3 months of 2017 compared to 2018 because Philadelphians hadn't yet fully worked out all the strategies that they would come to employ to avoid paying the tax back when it first went into effect. Well, that makes sense. Soda tax hacking strategies that include buying beverages that would be subject to the tax outside of the city, or buying packets of sugary drink mixes that were not taxed by the city and making their own sugar-laden beverages. By the second quarter of 2017, however, many Philadelphians had become adept at avoiding the tax. where the monthly tax revenue figures from April 2017 onward would be reasonable projections for the amount of revenue that would be likely to be collected over the remainder of 2018, aside from unique factors that may affect beverage sales and the corresponding tax collections, such as abnormally hot or cool weather conditions. And then there's the wild card of what the Pennsylvania Supreme Court may decide, which may make the entire issue of Philadelphia's revenue collections from its controversial soda tax moot. That court here heard arguments in a case challenging the legality of Philadelphia's soda tax back on 15th of May 2018. At this writing, the court has not yet indicated when it will issue a decision in the case. The Philadelphia beverage tax existence is also under threat from Pennsylvania's General Assembly, where legislation that could abolish the tax has been advancing through the legislature. One issue that has been resolved, however, is which purported beneficiary of Philadelphia's beverage tax would get stiffed should city officials accept the reality that the tax would not produce the revenue they had promised that it would. The designated loser turned out to be the Philadelphia Mayor Jim Kenney's Rebuild initiative to improve public parks, libraries, and other infrastructure for the city, which has been dramatically scaled back, once again, from promised investments. It was only ever a matter of time since the mayor has promised and proposed hiking Philadelphia's property taxes to increase funding to support the city's public schools. It's likely that the mayor's free pre-K program will be able to get the funds it would need to continue and to expand from that more stable source of revenue should the Pennsylvania Supreme Court rule against the City of Philadelphia soda tax, the way it should have been funded in the first place, if city officials had cared more about providing services to the public more than milking additional revenue out of the city's residents. We probably shouldn't have said that last part. Philadelphia's politicians may start thinking about taxing milk, as they might seek to close a loophole that they purposefully created when they originally crafted the city's controversial beverage tax. Previously on Political Calculations, we've been covering the story of Philadelphia's flawed soda tax on roughly a monthly basis from almost the very beginning, where our coverage began as something of a natural extension from one of the stories we featured as part of our Examples of Junk Science series. The links below, which there's a bunch of them, will take you through all of our near real-time analysis of the impact of the tax, which as of this writing has still to reach its end. And there's just a bunch of links, of course, that they put up. But here's one part that it actually kind of angers me when I hear this kind of stuff. It really pisses me off. Where was that at? About the property. It was only ever a matter of time since the mayor has proposed hiking Philadelphia's property taxes to increase funding to support the city's public schools. Whenever you hear anything about raising property taxes, that's basically the lowest of the low a politician can go. A government, local, state, city, whatever can go. Because that's the one tax. See, with soda, you can say, F that. I need to live a healthier lifestyle anyways. I'll start drinking water or some other type of drinks. Not soda. Not the soda tax kind of stuff. They're not going to tap up. Go get water, go get other things. No problem. I don't have to pay that. Property tax. You don't get to say no. You don't get to say that's too much. You don't get to say, hey, we homeschool. I don't want to pay that tax for public schools. I don't believe in all the liberal teaching that these teachers are teaching my kids anyways. Got to pay it. Got to pay it. But I don't use the service. Got to pay it. And if you don't pay it, property tax, because it's built into your property tax, they come get your house. And if you own your house outright, I finally did it. I did one thing that most Americans probably never do. Pay off their house. You know, at least compared to the way it used to be. Now, oh, you're 50 years old, refi. for another 30 years, 50, 60, I'll be 80 years old. Well, maybe I'll get a 20-year loan. Well, then I'll be 70. Well, wait a minute. Can I make my mortgage payment from the time I retire in my 60s to 70? Probably not. Doesn't make sense. But if you did pay off your house, and you did the hardest thing to do, pay off that house, have no debt, but some reason down on your luck, can't pay those property taxes, it becomes sorry about your luck. But I don't even have kids in school anymore. You're helping the system. Because imagine if everybody who didn't use those parts of the system, the elderly, retirees. Well, my kids are all grown, grown adults now. I don't use the school system. Imagine if you could opt out of that. Oh, I don't use it. I don't have to pay for it. I mean, that's how it should be, right? You don't use something, don't need to pay for it. But you know how much it would cost those who did need to use it and pay for it? Oh, they would be homeless on the streets. They'd be doing what they do in California, living in RVs up and down the streets near Silicon Valley. I showed you the video the other day. Dave sent it to me. The pictures. Real pictures that he took with his own camera. Lined up and down the streets. RV, 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 RV. Bike lane. Bike lane, my ass. Ain't no bike lane. You may as well take that sign down. And you might as well put up a sign that says RV parking only. Because that's where people are living. And I'd asked them, well, what, police like stop and give tickets or tow vehicles and stuff, get them towed? No. They pretty much turn a blind eye. He said, what are they going to do? It's an epidemic. Where are you going to put all these people? Where are they going to go? I was like, yeah, good point. And that happens from time to time. Whether it's the sheriff's office or the, city police department, whoever's in charge, or, jurisdiction, whatever. They'll tell their officers, hey, guys, we're not writing any tickets. We're not getting any of these RVs and stuff. Don't do it. They'll flat out tell them. We're not going to, basically we're not going to abide by that law. We're not going to enforce it, basically, is what they're saying. So in cases like that, they just choose to look away, which is kind of amazing in and of itself. You can look away for that kind of thing, but I didn't make quite a full stop at the stop sign. My front tire, you said it moved a little bit, but I'm pretty sure I stopped. Yeah, have to write you a ticket for that one. The revenue generators. But anyways, the soda tax was never going to work, and it still won't work. Take care.